Coach Leipold. We have mics on both sides. Please raise your hand if you have a question. We'll get a mic to you if you can. Andrew?
Yeah, Lance, just what changed for you guys on offense in the second half as opposed to in the first?
Well, field position was part of it. I thought early in the second half, they made a few adjustments. We didn't respond. I thought we had really good movement the first half, and it wasn't happening as much second half. You know, we throw a couple interceptions right now, and right now it's become a fragile situation at the moment that his confidence is in. So we're trying to, you know, and then I think we became a little predictable there with it then, especially, like I said, in those backed up situations. Like you said, it's extremely disappointing. Penalties didn't help either. You know, so you look at it, you're hurting yourself in some execution areas, your turnover areas, and penalties. That's hard. It's hard to win football games.
Coach, can you talk about the impact Jeremy Robinson and the rest of the D-line had, even on short rest at times?
Yeah, you know, I thought again defensively, statistically, we played pretty well again. You know, again, you know, personal foul, a pass interference, we had a chance multiple times to pick up a fumble, but I do think our defensive line and Jeremy, Dean, Dylan, I thought that from what I could see at least, you know, from sideline or D tackle, I mean, I thought we had a really good effort. Today's college football world, you're holding people under 300 yards. I think you're doing a decent job. I don't think we contained the quarterback quite like we had hoped. You know, their All-American receiver wasn't a huge factor. But again, as a team, we just did not make enough plays.
Lance, I think Jalen started the game 7-8, and then he had that spell there where he didn't complete anything for, I think, 9 passes. What was the biggest difference in that you saw?
I really can't tell you. You know, I'm sure, you know, the first interception, he didn't see the guy, and what's causing that right now, I'm not exactly positive at this moment, because I think each play, of course, is separate. But so I don't know if it's visual or if he's not seeing something on the field on the backside. That's something we need to talk about this weekend. But with that, obviously, there's, you know, I thought some of his throws were low most of the day. Then after that, I think he's trying to protect, and, you know, he's playing hard, and you know what, he had 33 yards touchdown, and he had 65, but 74 net. I mean, he's playing hard, but he's not playing of the Jalen that we know. But I'm not going to put this on me. I'm not going to put it on the kids right now. We got to figure out a better way to stay in rhythm and do it. And you can start with the head coach, and you know, we'll get it figured out. But it's yeah, we're extremely disappointed, and I said it probably last week. You know, a margin for error in college football for a bunch of teams, if you don't play, you know, is very, very difficult. That's, you know, just the way it is, and we have 3 times the amount of penalties as they do. We didn't get a turnover, did we? I mean, so again, we're losing statistical areas, and then as well as we played defensively, that was a 9.5 minute drive. I mean, you got to get off the field somehow. So again, there's plenty to look at and correct, but like I said, you can start with myself.
Lance, how do you go about building up Jalen's confidence and maybe the confidence of others?
Yeah, we gotta continue to analyze some things, talk it through. I mean, again, it's hard to do it 15 minutes after the game. Go in and you know, Jeff and Z and Jalen, we've got to find some ways to get some throws again, and some things that are back in his wheelhouse of comfort, and I'll just leave it for there right now. I mean, I don't want to without really looking at the film and talking to the coaches of what, everything that, there's a lot that happens within the calls and scenes, so I'm not gonna make it, but we gotta get him. The good thing is he's such a competitive guy. I'm not worried about his work ethic or his film study or where it's gonna go from here. We just gotta, find that groove again.
Lance, a couple things. You mentioned that it was a fragile situation. Was that just based on the play you were seeing? Maybe you mentioned him throwing the ball low after he'd thrown a couple picks. Was that something you had elsewhere
Fred,
noticed?
I guess, Fred, with it, he's, I don't know, he's thrown as many interceptions that he, it's uncharacteristic. And I'm not gonna sit there and say, that is it fair to him because he went through fall camp? Yeah, he went through fall camp, but he still hasn't played in a lot of game situations in a while. But, but we've gotta find all the answers as well to help him. So I guess what I'm saying is if he threw a pick six week before and now he threw one that got returned. Again, I say fragile. I think anybody would be like a little bit, I'm not gonna pick words you're gonna quote. Okay, so I just wanna, it's not gonna be where it was. But he keeps fighting and competing and like I say, I'll believe in Jalen Daniels and we'll continue to get better.
Following up on that, you're only down 3 after they get that late touchdown. What was the 5? The fragile mentality, but did you still feel like, hey, Jalen can go out and erase that?
I think so. I don't think it's been exactly where it's been before because, again, I don't have all those numbers. I don't think our second half snap count, yardage, all that was really give us anything that the momentum, had shifted. And, we go from end of the half, stopping them with time to go, that we can go down and get a score and increase the lead, get the ball coming out the second half, just like you draw it up almost, and we go from that to I think a kickoff return and a penalty or something, or we're inside our own area, everything you don't want, and that's tough, and I think that's the way we played most of that second half, unfortunately.
Did last week's pick six right before halftime factor into how you guys played before the end of the half?
No,
there?
because we were. Hey, it was. I was upset because I called the timeout to get another timeout and save 4 seconds, and we would have had it back to back. Whatever they did, we're going to get the ball with just under 2 minutes, and we're going to go because we're playing well, and so the mindset had changed. We felt we were in a good position. We were going to stay aggressive, and getting anything else at that point was not going to be us. So we didn't pull that back.
Lance, when we hone in on that 9-minute drive, UNLV converted the 4th down and then gets that unnecessary roughness penalty that pushes them back to the 16. Do you think it should have been a 1st and goal? Did you get an explanation from the referee
That's not
crew?
the call. Yeah, they explained it. Even though it's a dead ball foul, it starts a 1st and 10, not a 1st and goal.
Cool. Thanks.
Lance, I wanted to ask about just the difficult situation, because Jalen's only played a few games now in 2 years. It is really challenging to step into this level of competition. I mean, UNLV's a quality football team, and does at least getting these 2 games in give them a better leg up as you head into the Big 12?
Well, we're 3 games in now, so I can't. I'm not going to sit up here and make excuses. That's not right. That's not whatever. It starts. We have to own that we aren't playing well enough to. Could we say that he hadn't played a game since what? I don't know. Was it BYU or whatever? Somewhere in there last year. quarterbacks aren't gonna be live in fall camp, so, is there some of that? I don't know, I don't ask them, because I'm not gonna, I don't think that's a fair question, really. Because to create that stimulus in practice is difficult, so, but I think, there's times that you see him making throws that have been every bit as good, if not better, than he's ever made before. And then there's times where it's not, but it's just, everybody can do better. Everybody. Like I said, it starts with the head coach, and I need to do better, our staff needs to do better, and we will find a way. I mean, there's a lot of football to play yet with this group, and we haven't played a conference game yet, so if you want to try to, do something, but it's not gonna get any easier, and I know there's gonna be more people doubting, and the best thing, and I've tried to tell our guys for a long time, the most important thing are the guys in the room, in our team meeting room every day. Because they're the ones that know everybody that's working and going on, and everyone else will, unfortunately, I don't wanna say unfortunately, everyone is entitled to an opinion. And, but if we let opinions from the outside affect the locker room, then it's gonna be a long fall.
Sure. Thanks.
Time for one more, John.
Lance, Devin Neal, another 100-yard game. What did you see from the ground game, and then no high shot tonight?
Yeah, Daniel, was, today it came down, they told me, I don't know which time it was, that he had flu symptoms, had him in mass, he was slowed midweek a little bit too, so between that, they isolated him and put a mask on for some stuff, but, do I think this is a game Daniel would have had a chance also for those two guys to have a 1-2 punch,